welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host, John, better known as Day Around Yaks Ben. We have a fantastic show for you. Fractal Rush begins next week, and tips on how to deal with raid selling and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. He streams over on Twitch, where he answers the age-old question. I wonder, after our Thief topic today, will the next elite spec for Thief utilize the Warrior's Rage skills? Say hello to Age.
Hello, friends.
See, it hasn't released yet. His rage is storing up until the expansion, or as I like to call it, that Thief topic.
Hello, friends.
He's gonna need all the hugs he can get, so you gotta help him out, chat. And you can find her streaming. Whoop, that's the wrong camera. And you can find her streaming over on Twitch, telling her thoughts on Twitter, or even her own website, kitthetraveler.com. There are many heroes among us, but when you are left for dead in the mists, or Tyria itself, what you need is a true traveler. Say hello to Kit.
Hello. I'm so excited for today. Let's get this stuff rolling.
Be a good one, even though we haven't had like bombshell topics. I think there's a lot of good.
No, but today will be good.
Things.
I think there will be some good talks here.
I love chat. It's already saying the calm before the rage storm. Yeah. Age today is going to put the age in rage.
I realize now that Deo just used that Reddit topic for clickbait, but it's okay.
I mean, you know, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is, I already know how this is going to go. So I do apologize for any heart conditions you had over the week due to it.
More like blood pressure, but it's fine.
Well, blood pressure. It all has to do with the heart. But anyway, this week, just a heads up, we've talked about for like the past 2 weeks or so. Fractal Rush starts September 29th. So basically from September 29th, 10 a.m. Pacific time to October 6th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Completing Fractals of the Mist will reward Sense of Community trophies. Trade your trophies into the Fractal researchers outside Asura gates leading to the Mist to contribute to the community goal. Participants will receive more bonus boxes of goods for progressing the goal to higher tiers. So, I mean, I'm glad we got a little bit more information on what it was going to be entailing. I wish it would have had like, maybe what some of the goals were, kind of like the other, like the boss rush thing we've had. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to find out what we could possibly get.
I don't know. Maybe it's something akin to the rewards like World Boss Rush, but maybe more Fractal related. I don't know. Maybe like some extra keys or boxes or what have you.
That would be nice. What are you hoping for, Kit? Anything special from it? Skins, maybe?
I don't know yet. It's hard. I don't want to make a choice here.
I'll lowball it. We're getting nothing. We might get karma bonuses. That's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
karma consumables in the form of little kids' drawings. Are you talking? Because that's what we're good at.
Is this for the rewards for the new event rush?
Yeah.
Overall, so
I'm purposely lowballing it. I hope we get like maybe a tonic or something, like something to.
Maybe some infusions, not high end, but maybe medium to get people in. I don't know, just this is a thought of infusions, or maybe some stuff for the back piece if you haven't done the wings yet. I don't anything I can think of. I'm just thinking of things that they'll probably benefit the player a little bit. Maybe they'll do food again. I mean, they gave us scented food last time, so I'm sure they'll do it again. Other than that, I don't know. It'd be cool if they did some skins instead of just food and buffs,
Yeah, I'm actually, like I said, I'm still surprised that it didn't have like a kind of breakdown thing, but base account bound AR.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
that'd be a good. Yeah, since that's really only unlocked once. What is it? Once you do like finish Fractal level 100, you can have the ability to make your account have account bound AR.
I mean, the only other thing I think of is letting the player have a choice to maybe pick a certain fractal of the mist skin, because there's like the blue, gold, and now the purple. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think of things that are actually useful and not just food and buffs, because that's what they gave us the last 2 rushes. So
yeah. Well, hopefully we hear something about it during the rush or something. It'd be kind of weird if it was just kind of a surprise, but I don't know. We'll see.
right.
But yeah, if you ever were considering doing fractals, it's probably a good time to maybe check it out. I mean, we just got a new fractal, and hopefully there'll be a lot of people going into it for community bonus.
That would be cool, Jones, with the like 20 AR. Yeah, and that would definitely help. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think if they gave something that's kind of like entices the player to continue on and keep playing fractals, that might help a lot of people, like anyone that's new wise or not playing fractals as much as the high end players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because doing the Fractal 100 unlocks account bound AR for everything. What if there was, for reaching max community reward, something that's like, this gives the account 20 AR, or whatever the number is, like a little bit of AR for the account, like you said, just to get people maybe easily more in the door. Is that something you guys would like to see, or do you think it would be a travesty?
I can see it a little, but I'm not sure entirely.
And chat's even saying, not a fan of the community goal-driven rewards. Efforts should be taken into account and personal accomplishment as well. Yeah, I would like to see something where it showed like when it said you could, the boxes gave you the little trinkets to turn into a vendor. I was hoping it would be like used as a currency. So maybe if you did farm a lot, you could buy things with those tokens. But it doesn't seem like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like just an open, easy thing to promote fractals. It's not like, it's not like it's going to, it's not like it's meant for like hardcore fractal goers, just like World Boss Rush isn't for people who always do every World Boss whenever possible type of deal.
Mm-hmm. And chat does bring up a good point. No matter what the reward is, there will be people complaining on Reddit. And unfortunately, that is the case no matter what. It doesn't even have to be world fractals. It could be, anything. But can't please everybody. It's kind of like even on official forums. So, but yeah, hopefully it goes off, decently well. But yeah, any other thoughts on the Fractal Rush?
No, on my end.
All right, well, kind of staying in the vein of the fractals. What was it? Last week. No, wait. Sorry, due to all the world stuff, time has meant nothing. When did the fractal launch? It was the 5th. Was it No, it was the week before.
About 10
either
days
the
ago.
1st or the 8th,
Okay.
unless it was before in August.
So yeah, 10 days ago. So not this last week. It was the week before. Okay. Ugh. Apologies, everybody. But we had the new Fractal Sunqua Peak. Definitely wanted to talk about story last week. Unfortunately, most people, like I said, I've only done the basic thing, but I did look up the challenge mode because for me, I probably won't reach that anytime soon, and I definitely wanted to talk about it because they seemed so enthused by the story, and I can see why. And so many people, it seemed like on Reddit and stuff like that, seemed to really enjoy it, and I was like, I'm curious to see what's happening, and that's kind of what we're gonna do, is kind of just talk about it and So we're not gonna throw up a spoiler tag, but if you do want to, like I said, I don't feel like at this current moment it's directly linked to the story. I think it might, like the main PvE story, it could breathe life into how the universe might operate in Guild Wars 2, but I don't think that's a direct PvE type story thing. And well, honestly, I think last week I said that's one reason why I like this compared to the infamous Mersat returning raid thing. I was like, So, but yeah. So for people that aren't familiar, Sunqua Peak was based off of, or a part of Sunqua Valley in Guild Wars 1 factions, which was like the starting, basically the first big area you went to when you started your character. But yeah, if you go through and do some of the achievements, there are letters that actually are written to a character. I don't know exactly how to say her name. AI, basically AI. I don't know how exactly to pronounce it. I do apologize. Maybe if someone knows in chat the pronunciation. But basically to her and their daughter Lon, and basically it's written from what appears to be the husband Bo, who has, it seems like, been tasked to be part of the Emperor's attempt, because it seems like it's taken place after Guild Wars 1 Winds of Change, which was part of Guild Wars 1's Beyond storyline, which were events that took place after like the main chunk of the story. But yeah, so after Winds of Change, basically we eradicated any type of like the plague that was left, but it started to lean towards more of like, this could be used, like this was rolling into, purging anything different. And sure enough, that's what happened. Was after the events of Guild Wars 1, so you don't see this in game, Emperor Usoku, attempting to unify Cantha, started to begin purging non-humans and political enemies. This was also when supposedly the collapse of the Kurzik and Luxons happened as well. But it was kind of right around that time frame. I think it was 1127 AE, and a lot of the letters I think take place between 1127 and 1128 AE, which if you look at the letters themselves, it says 1637 and 1638 CC. That's the Canthan calendar, which is, I believe, 510 years difference between what Tyria normally what Tyrian centric it goes after, surrounds, which is the AE calendar schedule, which is considered after Exodus. Very human, god centric, and Tyrian centric. But so that's where it gets a little interesting and weird. But if you check out those letters, all of a sudden you can see how the husband is starting to see this shift of like, kind of sweet letters to the daughter and stuff, and it's like has like moments of like, hey, don't let her read this portion, and it has like a little bit more message. But I think like the last one is just like, I think he knows he's not returning, like it's a game over, death sentence type thing, like tells them to basically have a good life type thing. Like, it's kind of sad to see, or sad to hear, but what makes it strange is, like I said, these letters take place, like written to them during that time frame, which was 1637 CC and 1638 CC. But if you go around to the different monuments in the fractals, there is a monument to Lon, who's the daughter, and Bo, who's the husband, who apparently died. Those are listed as basically right around 620 CC. So well before those events would take place. A lot of people are like, is there time travel involved? Is there, this and that? And if you put up the equivalent of like the after Exodus or like the Tyrian calendar, it puts it at around their living dates were 76 AE to 108 AE, and Lon's was 98 AE to 110 AE, which conveniently enough, literally there is a gap if you look at the Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2 timeline. Guild Wars 1 timeline has the other calendar dates, but it only goes so far because it stopped, after of Guild Wars 1. But you can kind of transpose that onto the Guild Wars 2 thing. But this is still so early on. The only thing that was happening was the Primeval Kings were took over the rest of Alona and started burying their previous royalty in the Crystal Desert. That's the only thing that's happening during those time frames that kind of exist separately from that, because the other stuff matches up. The letters are during the correct time frame of when this should be happening. But yeah, it's super weird why that is. And I think the guild chat, or they were talking with the devs, and people were asking, did you guys date these incorrectly? And the devs kind of did make it seem intentional and said, there is more to the story that could be explored with future fractals. And that's why I'm like, people say you like it, I want to hear more. I want to hear and see more of this. And I mean, if it follows suit with how well it was received, I don't think anybody's gonna not want more fractals.
Right.
But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think.
So are
and
you wanting them
thinks.
to continue on? You're hoping them to continue on that baseline of that story, or why those are there, or what? What
I
is your
guess
thought?
why they're there, and possibly why does it seem like their lives are out of sync with time?
Because even if it is time travel, it doesn't make sense that they dated that date.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what people have been thinking of, like time travel, which that's the power of the Mists, is it can be anytime really, or alternate universes, but yeah, it's really weird. But the fractals are supposed to be fragments for various times and eras. But that's the thing, is Bo and Lan are established in two separate, long, different eras. And that's the weird thing about it, is unless it's just weirdly coincidence that there's another person named Bo and Lan, or Lon, that they put in there.
You get the only thing I can think of is that they those two got caught in the mist somehow, and then they went through those events because the fractals can do that type of deal. And since they were in their own era, maybe they just dated it around that time. That's the only thing I can really think of.
So you think Bo and Lon are basically traveling through the mists and experience that? Now, would that also include...
Well, how did they get to the mist?
I don't know.
Well, like I said, during that time frame, that was when the Primeval Kings were sending their dead to the Crystal Desert, which we know in the Crystal Desert there were portals leading to the mist. But Lord Ogeron was the one that kind of manipulated them, but maybe people did discover them prior, so it could be that.
Because I don't see how you date something like 600 years
yeah
before. unless you think you are in that era. Like, you still think it is that date. So to me, it feels like they went from a state to living and dead. I don't know. It's like, that's the only thing I can really think of that makes sense to me.
And then, and like Chad says, the God realms are technically in the mist too. And yeah, that's the thing, is the mist kind of are all realities, all different spots, and they're also saying, and there are gateways in Cantha, which, yeah, I forgot they kind of did add that in, where, you know, go to the, in Guild Wars 1 you could go in the mist through Cantha and also Alona, so there are technically those spots as well. So yeah, they could have not even had to do that, and it's just weird that, and yeah, maybe that's the thing, is IE, and I guess this is where the spoiler comes in, you find out, is if you've only played the regular portion of the Fractals, that is the how's it termed, the mysterious wizard or whatever, or the base of the boss at the end is that person.
The person that is in those letters, or her family, or
she's the mom, or she's the mother that lost both Bo and Lon. So maybe she is still kind of like how you're just saying, traveling through the mist and haven't died yet.
Is that why she's angry, or was angry, or whatever?
Some of the dialogue does hint at that, like, because it seems like, yeah, she lost control and stuff like that. So maybe her powers opened up a rift in it or something. But no, I didn't even think about falling through the fractals or through the mist and stuff like that. But
it's interesting how they connect that with 1, though.
So I'm curious to see where that goes. Like I said, I hope they really continue it.
If they do, then it makes me want them to finish up the was it the Dwarven Catacombs or whatever, the one for where the girl and that guy are walking around exploring, and they're even from the past. Like, so it's like, why are they there? How did they get there? How did we pop into there? Is what I'm saying. So it could be possible that maybe that was that timeline, and we are time traveling around, and they're not, and maybe their time frame, like that lady you're talking about, is where it's at.
Yeah, and it could make sense of why they have really no control over it, because if you think about it, Fractal the Mist, Dessa's in there trying to control things. The reason we got Fominova Reactor was they researched into it to be able to contain it. It was either going to be that or the Abaddon Fractal, and, you know, voting swayed it towards that. But the idea behind it was they found a way to quote unquote stabilize it as best as possible as you can do with a fractal. So yeah, Dessa's doing a lot of the work to make it so what makes it sound like we can come and go as we please. Whereas if someone accidentally goes in, maybe it's like sliders and they're, you know,
right, that's
forever traveling through.
We're jumping in their timeline, and
yeah, because technically it's like they did what we're doing, but they just couldn't leave, I guess, is what you're saying. That makes sense to me.
And one thing I was starting to speculate on was, what if the fractals, especially this fractal in specific, are kind of like what we've seen with the mists in relation to, and I've talked about in the past, Raza, who they say basically, you know, it latched on to what the human-like structure and created Raza to make it look human. But what if it could also go further and do also the memories of things? I love that. Chat's now equating me to the professor and Gimli, who were the same person in Sliders. Yes. But I mean, I always like the dwarfs. I want the dwarfs to come back too. So there you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they would cover that, that'd be cool to understand why. Then, are we the ones bouncing back in time? Because we also hit up the dwarf area too. So.
And I think that's why like, especially with the thing I was thinking of was, like I said, what if it could latch onto a memory similar to, like, what if it latched, because if you play through the story or the challenge mode, you're basically fighting the darkness in her own mind type thing. And there's like the different aspects.
That's why I'm wondering if she accidentally killed him, because she does say in the line that, she can't control her powers. She doesn't want to hurt us like she hurt them.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm wondering if maybe the Miss is also trying to torture her. Like, what if they latched onto this memory and basically making her live her worst nightmare with all this darkness basically piling down on her, saying like, no, you messed up, you did this, and like that's why we tried to fight
Right.
it back. Because, and like I said, there's slight history of this with the Miss. Is like I said, with Raza, it could do a physical form. That's why I'm wondering if a memory thing, which we kind of see with the Revenant's abilities of the different legends, like they're not literally the legend, they're just like a piece, like a slice of it, like basically an echo of it. We've seen in the Living Story where earlier on, what was it, Air and all who was the original Surin? The one that everybody blames. Snaff. Snaff, yeah. Because they both came back to help assist us with that. I think it was when we were defending the refugee or the sunlights. I know we talked about it last week with we were hoping it was going to be the new
I have a feeling
homelessness.
Zoja's going to be coming back around anyways, because Felicia has said even on her stream that she has basically did a deal with ArenaNet, and that she most likely might be in the talks of coming back. So I have a feeling they're holding Zoja for something.
That'd be cool. Maybe she'll give us more answers like Timey. She'll give us all the answers.
I feel like they'll kill her off if after this or something.
What happened to the big woman with chickens?
Big woman with chickens?
I'm confused.
Is there a fractal?
Oh, in the letters.
Oh,
do you mean the other? Oh, I wanted to pull out that name because that was the one that Bo was saying to trust in. Like I said, there's a lot of questions that I'm curious about, and I'm wondering if these letters are like legitimate things that maybe. Yeah, I think that was the name. Like chat saying that I think maybe the letters were to legitimize like I said, if this is potentially with the one thing I was thinking of was a memory that was designed to torture i.e. Like I said, basically manifesting her darkest fears and beliefs, and maybe an echo of, because for people who don't know, in the challenge mode, you find out that the stag that you see at the beginning was actually Lan's spirit to go help her. Like basically she's tasking you to help her, and you can kind of get hints of that with the regular story because it's like not acting spirity like. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious of if that is something new with the Mist that we're learning, is it can kind of not only, like I said, not only read the physical structure of a human and create a human entity, but maybe now maybe it can also latch on to these echoes or memories and create worlds. Like maybe that's how we get certain timelines and fractals. Oh yeah, I mean I looked at the CM and stuff like that. And like I said, I definitely curious to. What's that?
Boulder was the name of the big woman.
Oh, okay. But though I think a lot of this revolved around the idea of like this person fighting this darkness, like almost like a depression type thing, and that's my biggest question. Is there were 3 monuments, one for Bo, one for Lan, and then one that was marked with CMD and had kind of like a little poem thing, which all of them kind of had that. Well, I was like, why does CMD sound so familiar? I mean, granted, it's 3 letters. But I don't know. First thing I thought of was like, I don't know, command prompt, like I was like, that seems weird and out of place. But then I tried to remember something. I looked up. There is something in psychology or even mental health in general known as common mental disorders, which are just tend to be exactly how it sounds. Common mental disorders that happen just often to many people in normal situations. One of those being depression, and it like if you read the poem that's after it, really seems like that. It seems like it kind of goes in with how she's dealing with her thing and stuff like that. So I wonder if CMD is kind of like a nod to that, whether it's gonna play into fruition of it being an actual in-game character situation or something. But I feel like
maybe we'll run into them in the next game because we're going to Kansas.
Yeah. Well, and I was also thinking CMD, maybe the D, especially if this is happening earlier on, maybe this is an earlier Delacroix. But like I said, I think out of game, I think CMD was the choice for maybe that knowledge of common mental disorders, especially because the achievement is kind of has that language of like talking about kneel at like the shrines of like, for the exact wording, but like venturers before you, which really rings true to the idea of like trying to enforce that idea to people that are in depression and stuff like that, to let them know that they aren't alone, even though they might feel that, which was very much, I think.
You also hope it's not tied to the, whole, talk program as well.
And I think maybe that's why, because it really seemed like out of nowhere, like it was like the 25th they announced they were doing that thing in August, literally for September. Like usually there's more talks of like leading up to that fractal thing. It just felt like it was really quick to be put out there. So I wonder if, they definitely wanted to get it out September, which was, the suicide prevention month.
I mean, I'm not down that you're wrong about what you think that's tied to. I just think it's a good timing on the social event that they're kind of doing for the awareness, and then this actually coming in, if anyone catches that.
And that's why I'm wondering, because let me see what the achievement is, because like I said, it just really rings true to that idea of like you want to make sure, like usually with suicide prevention, you want to make sure people realize that they're not alone in this thing.
That's
and
I think if someone took the chance and probably like reached out to Bobby or any of the writers and just say, hey, was this maybe tied to this, like, kind of ideal, or
Yeah, the related achievement was respect for the dead, but it says show respect for those who walked before, so it's kind of like ringing them true to that, like, hey, you're not alone in this journey type thing. But also the inscription on it was CMD, August beauty, gentle night, droplets pool in quiet light, fire dying cool as skin, ashes scatter in the wind, and then air, or is it breath, earth inhales life from death, newborn blossoms rise at dawn, beauty's past but never gone. It kind of also rings true to almost that like a subset of depression, which is that seasonal depression, like where I know a lot of people might be going through it currently, just when climate and night happens sooner, people kind of get into a depressive state like that. And so I wonder if it's also, like I said, it's just definitely interesting that it's happening during this time. And so I wonder realistically, maybe the CMD was a nod to that. I'm curious if there is going to be a lore attachment to it, but I don't know. That's one thing I kind of came across and kind of came up with. But yeah, I mean, I'm really liking Age's theory of like maybe they're tumbling through the mists or something, and yeah, kinda can't wait to see where this goes. So hopefully they continue with it.
Yeah, that's one thing makes me sad about them is sometimes they kind of leave, like someone said earlier, they kind of leave all these threads open, and then, I mean, it's good because then they can go back to it, but then sometimes it feels like they leave some just permanently open, and you're just like, give us a closing or something.
Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed they continue it. I mean, like I said, I think they said it was going to be attached to fractals, and it seems like people have loved this fractal. So if they continue with it, it's like
Mhm.
they might, you know,
So like
continue
they
with the
will.
story.
It
But
probably won't be if that one particular is maybe tied to Cantha at all or anything, then maybe we won't see anything until Cantha.
I don't know. It could be leading up to it because, like you know, with what Age and you guys were saying was, if it's them tumbling through it, maybe it's a different way to explore different moments leading up to Cantha, like catching them up with
Like what
like
happened
maybe
while we were gone,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, maybe it'll
Yeah,
be a good way
that's
for
cool.
them to check it out, and maybe the last instance will be showing us, you know, maybe their lifespan of that was outside of that moment. But yeah, that's can't wait to see because there's a lot of threads you could go with it. Like, for example, one thing, and like I said, it's not surrounding this, but what Chad's saying, well, according to Cameron, it all depends on us making enough noise. And that's why I was saying earlier is Cameron was saying during one of the most recent guild chat was if people like it enough, and that's why I'm saying hopefully it
I just
sounds
gotta
like
trust that
people are.
noise situation because they say that for a lot of things. And look at the raid community, look at the World v World community. Look, I can get on a list of things a lot of people have been making noise for, and nothing is happening. So
No, that we know
hopefully they
of.
actually go with what they're saying for this for sure, because it'd just be nice for them to stick to their word.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but it's, you know, that we know of. They could be making a raid. I mean, they've made, and I know
Right.
it's not the equivalent, but they have done the uh what are they called, the strike missions.
Those didn't pan out the way they were supposed to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say raids panned out the way they were supposed to for them. I mean, that's how
Mhm.
most things go in reality. But I don't know. I don't think strike missions were a bad thing. I would like to see a little bit more in depth with them, but I don't know. That's kind of going off the
I feel
subject
like they
of.
should have came out with them sooner. I feel like they came out way too late.
Yeah, but I think
So
it was probably like an
I mean,
obvious
it's tough
thing. It was
still
like
to
with the
do.
expansion and,
Right. I
but
feel like they
yeah.
should have came out just a little earlier with that, maybe like after the first wing or something when people were trying to like want to get into raids. That would have been a good opportunity to bring them in then and just be like, here you
Yeah.
go. But then again, it could have been like they maybe didn't start the project until a little bit after or whatever. But overall, the ideal of that should have started a little bit sooner just to get people into that.
No, Chad's saying you can't put a bandage on something before there is a wound. But I think the problem is it wouldn't have had to have been a bandage. If because a lot of people were like, can there be like an easy mode type thing? And I think
Or
unfortunately the
dungeon, the 5
community
minute.
ran with the idea of clearly you want an easy mode so you can get the loot easier. That's not what anybody said. And if they did, they're as crazy as the other extreme of hardcore raiders. And not every hardcore raider before someone starts typing. But you know, you have the small sect on both sides that take it to a hyperbolic situation. But yeah, it's
In the end, I think easy mode with like dungeon like rewards, and then we give them the story, give them
mm-hmm.
an achievement for doing the story, and that's it. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I agree. I
I don't know.
never in
Yeah.
my mind thought if there would be an easy mode for a raid, it would involve I get the loot easier. No, it's you get the story at an easier pace. And like you said, it would be like dungeon-esque difficulty. There you go. You just supported the dungeon community that was fading and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I said, I don't think it needed to be a bandage, where it definitely did feel like that with strike missions. Like Kit was saying, it felt like it was kind of really late after the game. But yeah, any other thoughts on the Fractal story and background of that?
I like the Fractal.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see the CM being challenging given what I fought for the last boss. So I think it was overall pretty good. Story's interesting, and the date discrepancy is, I think, what interests me the most about all
Yeah.
this when you brought it up. So yeah, can I see more? If there is more, I'm hoping there is more.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think for our next topic, we saw a Reddit post that was talking about the state of Thief and how it is ruining roaming in World v World. I mean, would anybody have an idea on thoughts on this topic? I
No, good. Let's move on. All right.
okay. Yeah. In that Gatorade bottle, was that the blood of your enemies?
I'm not a vampire.
Okay. I mean, you did dress up as Blade that one time.
That's true.
So that is the one vampire that tries to not do it. But anyway. Well, I mean, so is this person in agreement with me that we should delete Thief, or?
Dear Lord. All right. I'm not getting around this. All right. So, um, I'll start by saying, I saw this thread posted as one of the links for this week, and I kind of just went through some of the comments in the OP, obviously, and then I just kind of went on a rant on Twitter. I read it back a couple days later. I'm still standing by what I said. I just realized I was like annoyed at the beginning, but by the end of that thread, I was just like very irritated. Um, that didn't help with the plethora of
Maybe
problems with Oregon, but
give a little bit of context of what the thread was saying, like
yeah.
pinpoints real quick, so
So
that if anyone didn't see.
yeah. So basically, this person has been getting more invested into Warcraft's world in the past couple months, and they're having trouble with fighting Thief, and they think the stealth and mobility of Thief, like is kind of the core attributes of Thief, but they think the ability to fully disengage a fight is very annoying, and that they want um they just kind of want like stealth nerfed. They don't think it's broken, but they don't think that they should be able to get out of fights easily. Um, and the counter to that argument is that every class has a specific strengths and weaknesses. In terms of the strength of Thief, it is the mobility, and the defense mechanism is stealth for the most part, and the blinks, the disengages. Where Thief lacks is long term fights. Thief by design cannot stay in fights for long periods of time versus, like, let's say Guardian or Warrior or Mesmer. I don't know Mesmer nowadays, but like let's say Mesmer from like the last one I know. Um, so I don't want to say it's a learn to play issue, but it's not really a learn to play issue. It's just a learning issue, because if I go into World versus World as a Thief, there are fights that I know that I can take. There are fights that I do not enjoy taking. Like, for example, I fought a Scrapper for 10 minutes, and it was one of the longest drawn out fights that I've ever had, and I'm surprised no one came by to like kill us or anything like that while we were fighting. And it happened like on 2 occasions. Same Scrapper actually, and it was like really hard because they had access to the stealth gyro, they had access to invulns and blocks, and then when I actually got him low, he had extra passive invulns via the traits.
Right.
So it's like I just had to play the fight as best as I can and try to work around it. And it seems like this person is just convinced that stealth just needs to be nerfed in general, whereas the problem is that you just don't know how to fight the class yet. You don't know how to fully engage it, and you didn't even ask like, how do I even counter this? Is this counterable? And when people come in like that, just say like nerf this to curb this, is like, you don't understand what that would do to the class, because
And
blinks and stealth are like the core defense mechanisms for a thief. If you take that away or you hurt that, and ArenaNet's track record of giving back when they do that is very, very poor when it comes to thief. It just cripples the class and becomes nearly unplayable.
and I wonder if they were like kind of mentally trying to equate it to like clearly stealth is a pretty much a soul mechanic. I know other professions have it. You were even talking about,
Yeah.
but it a lot of the gameplay surrounds for thief of like kind of like you said, hopping in and out, picking your battle like type things, being strategic that way. I wonder if they were kind of equating that to, I like the only thing I can think of is like Necro Scourge, of how it was just horrid for World v World at the beginning, and it was based around that that mechanic. Like I don't know, that I'm trying to think of
So
like how they're trying to think,
the
but I just feel
sandstorms.
like they're two very different things. But I mean,
So okay, so like for example, whenever I fought a scourge, I never ever went near the shades. Never went near the shades. I always swapped a bow and I started poking them and poking them. When they got low, I swapped to a melee weapon set and I jumped them. Like, there are ways to play around stuff like that. Um, just glad the balancing doesn't really listen to that sort of input. We're not playing one professional. Yeah. Um, but there is stuff that I absolutely loathe playing against. Like, back when Druid, I think, released Druid, or like 6 months into hot release Druid, they were so strong just because they had what's that pet, the one smoke scale,
oh
and
yeah,
then they had really good base healing, so they didn't really have to put much into healing to get decent healing. And on top of that, they got a stealth trait, so that they can actually dip out. They can ancestral, I think, I forgot the skill that dashes them with the staff, but they can get out, swap to bow, and then like shoot me down with rapid fire, and they can just run berserker or marauders, and that would like shred a lot of my health if I'm not careful. So it's like there are, and then like if I get them low, they can heal up, and because of the base healing that was really good at the time, they can just go back to full no problem within like 3 to 5 seconds. So it's like there's like there are fights that are hard, and
Right.
I'm gonna complain obviously, but it's like I'm not gonna go on Reddit and say this needs to be nerfed. It's like this is a complaint that I have, but like I'm gonna try
I'm
to deal
wondering
with
if they
it to
just
the
got
best I
their
can.
butt kicked a lot and now they wanted to complain.
Yeah, it's like I understand that Thief is a hard part, but like if you have to play around that playstyle, and the best way to play around that playstyle is to just constantly pressure, because we have cooldowns, because Thief has been nerfed a lot lately, especially with the improv change. The improv change makes it very weird to reset skills, so people probably just use the damage increase instead, for the most part. And the stealth has been nerfed in the past, because they changed the one of the utilities that grants like a small AoE stealth to have like a small cast time, and then they traded off for stability, and I don't really care about the stability. I'd rather have the instant stealth. So it's like these things, like, they have been curbing stealth to a degree where it's fair. I think.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna
only
say at this point it makes it sound like this person wants to kind of just remove stealth, which it's like I don't think that's solving
it's
anything.
I don't think they want to remove stealth. I think they just want stealth on thief to be nerfed so that they can have more opportunities to engage them. But again, like I said, it'll just hurt the class, and you'll see it comes more prevalent in PvP that high mobility is necessary for thief, because if you can't get out, you're just dead, because you have very little in terms of safety nets. You have the elite right now, I think, that you could spin, and then you have Banish Defense if you're running Daredevil. Um, I'm trying to think of any other ones that will give you anything, but nothing really comes to mind. Like, those are the two core ones that I would use if I'm staying in a fight. Um, Otherwise, I'm just relocating and I'm doing some sort of damage or capping a point type of deal. But yeah, it's just I feel like I don't know what class this person's playing.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
all the
it's
other.
disadvantage as well. I don't know.
And that's
But
also the thing, and I think that's what like chat was saying before was one build isn't going to be able to counter every single like like class unless the person's playing poorly or whatnot. But you know, outlier situations like that. But it, and I'm worried that that's what this person was expecting, and they might have went up against a really good thief, but their build is just not tuned for that specific type of thing.
Yeah, honestly, thieves these days, if you see a thief roaming in World vs. World these days, the way the state that World vs. World is in right now, they're probably decent. They're probably very decent, and they know what they're doing. So,
Yeah, because I know a
or,
lot of people's
or
mindsets are
they're
when they see someone just alone, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna, pick them off." But yeah, it's
yeah, and like unless they're running like a cheesy build, like I understand if they're running like a cheese build or something like that, but if they're running like a standard build or like a build normal build, like even double dagger power builds are a thing I see. So
like Chad's saying, there is for World v World at least, since this is the situation they're bringing up, is there are reveal options. So
yeah, I
You know
feel
what's gonna
like
be funny? Not to interrupt, but I
yeah,
think when World v. World does come out with its update, there's gonna be a bunch of new players, and it's gonna be a lot of those threads, people who haven't like played classes against other classes in a sense. Yeah, PvP, sure, but in the open field with no like, because in PvP you only have a sigil and the weapons, right, or whatever. You don't have like the actual gear full set. You don't have everything,
they can't
decked
fine
out.
tune.
Exactly. So when World v. World opens up to the Alliance, it's going to be very interesting to see how many threads pop up of people kind of talking like this, where they're just like, they don't know how to counter, or they don't try other ways, or they complain, they complain,
well,
or bring up things that they think that needs to be nerfed when really it's not that. It's either they're just miscalculating, playing, whatever.
well, I think it's good and bad because there are some issues in World vs. World that probably should be addressed, and the more people talk about them, the more Arena will
Hmm.
have to look at it. But I'm hoping Arena can um, identify what needs to be fixed and what doesn't.
Exactly.
That's the only thing. And I think for the most part, people will Zerg if they're new. Um, I don't think people will start roaming right off the bat unless they're coming out of like a PvP background or something like that. But
And I mean, I know you kind of gave tips of how to defeat them. Like, have you had any experience like dealing with thieves of like maybe a tip on how to defeat like deal with them, and even with chat, or if you're watching us on YouTube, let us know in the comments. Maybe this somehow gets back to them, and maybe it'll give some good
yeah,
thief tips or dealing with thief tips.
the general tips I would say is just pressure. like keep constant pressure, even if they try to disengage. If you try to run towards them and they think you can close the gap, that keeps them in like 110% state of mind where like they have to think of their next moves carefully. And I've been in situations that I felt like over pressured that I've overblown cooldowns, and that's another way to like get me. And when you feel like, because like our health pool is like 1500, like it's 11 to 15 or 1700. So if you get us at half health, just burst, like do do your best burst combo. If you're Condi, just keep pressuring with Condi. We do not have a ton of cleanse. We have our Signet and we have Shadow Step, and we ideally do not want to blow Shadow Step for a Condi cleanse. So those are two general tips I could give. If you have interrupts, timing those is also good too. Interburst combos. And if you get the opening, I think just do a strong opening to put them on the back pedal. I guess this is just mostly world versus world stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's the direction that they seem to be coming from. So
yeah. For PvP, if there's a thief, they're always going to try to decap. At least good ones will. So you just got to be careful about that. If you, the trick to that is you have to win fights fast. But that's not really necessarily up to you. It's more up to the team fights that you have. But yeah.
do you have any tips or experience, Kit, with dealing with thieves in game?
No, I just try my best. If I can counter, I can counter. Most of the time, if I'm playing Guardian or Trapper, like DH or something, it's not too bad because I am that mean person that'll lay traps down. But yeah, other than that, I can't. I know I can't fight them right now because I'm not that great without something locking them down. Because they always seem to vanish and then reheal up somewhere and then come back and to knock my butt down. So I have to trap them first before they can trap me. Is how I go with that plan.
A good one is the Longbow 5 for Dragon Hunter because that one has no AoE indicator at all.
Yep.
So if you shoot that, I have to full blink out because I do not want to be trapped because I don't know the range of it, honestly. And like if other thieves know it, then great. That's good for them. Yep. So they can walk out, but
and that's what I usually do. I'll trap them down and I'll use that skill, and then usually it just get down some by then, depending how squishy they are.
Yeah. So if you land that, and then there's a utility blink you can do, and then you can just lay a trap like Dragon's Maw or something, you just instantly delete usually.
Yeah.
It's not fun, but you know,
and
it is what it is.
And I mean, honestly, in the end, like, because they say how they will run off and like that might not even be a totally bad thing for World v World. Like if you're keeping them off a thing, hopefully you can try to get reinforcements that come. But it's like, you know.
Honestly, with Warclaw, roaming's a lot harder for Thief because the mobility is higher for everyone. So if you can, I've literally been stopped multiple times now because people just come in with Warclaw and jump in on the point. I'm like, well, crap. I guess I will either fight or run. So.
Okay, yeah, those. I mean, so I mean, do we have to delete Thief, or is it gonna stay for at least another week?
No, delete, in my opinion.
I didn't say
must stay. Must stay forever.
I say keep them because I like my Age Knight Road happy.
Like we need our ninja, because if not, the game's never the same.
Kanta expansion. Spear of Justice is Spear of Justice is also torture, just because if that lands, I'm like, oh god, no.
Yes.
That's what I'm going through my head.
Oh, that's why I said with basically Guardian, Dragon, all of that class, I can do fine with Thief. Any other class, it's a downhill
Yeah, see, that's
battle.
just one class. Like I said, maybe chat knows more. Like if you're watching on YouTube, maybe you know more about some of the other professions and how to deal with thieves and stuff like that, or stealth in general. But yeah, they usually equip everybody, so you might not have the ability right then and there to perfectly take on every single profession, but I think that's by design.
Yeah, if you go into a profession, just you need to either understand what other professions have the potential to do, and then you try to work around that in order to win duels. But that's kind of the interesting part of roaming. So you never know what you're gonna run into. So,
well, like I said, I want to keep my Age Knight Road happy, so eventually he can carry me through stuff. That way, I don't have to spend my money like trying to buy a raid. Speaking of trying to buy and sell raids, another Reddit post was talking about they want to make a petition on the ability to block the selling of raid parties in LFG, which I understand that can clog up, the system of it. I don't think this was a petition to ban the selling of raids, because I think in the past the Arena has already stated that they're okay with it. They've been okay with it since Guild Wars 1 of like kind of selling things. As long as people are, okay and legit about the things, not trying to kick people from raids to sell, as long as you're not trying to do something shady like that. But there were some interesting tips that I never even thought of about using the LFG tool. The only thing I could see as a bit of annoyance was because someone actually suggested you can block them though. Just add them to the block list for the names with weird characters. You can join their squad. They say you can join their squad, then right click on the commander to block them for the characters that have like they said, like unique characters in them. My only annoyance with that would be, from at least the raid seller's perspective, is if it fills up the group, it would close their thing down, which would be like, okay, that was a little bit of a jerk thing to do. But another person, I think they also chimed in saying, what they also do is they actually give the person a name of raid seller in their block list. That way, if they happen to be raiding with them, that nickname will show in their squad interface, and they will temporarily unblock them for communication. But they even say their LFG is actually clean from doing that. So that's one workaround that I didn't even think of. Well, no, they're not saying to ban the... Well, I know in the past people have said that, like when they first started trying to sell raids. And like I said, they've came out with that. And while I agree with chat, it would be great to have a more robust LFG tool system. While we don't have that, or any inkling of that happening, maybe it will come in the Alliance system. I've heard it fixes everything. But I really like this because I thought it was a pretty good use of the tool as a workaround. So, like I said, you could potentially add them to your own block list. That way they won't show up in LFG systems or anything like that. I mean, people want things as easy as possible. I mean, that's unfortunately humanity. How they can get from A to B in the simplest way possible. But that's why I saw this tip. I thought it'd be a good tip for, anyone really. I don't even have to be new players, because I saw this and I was like, oh, I knew of the individual parts. I did not think of utilizing them in that way, because don't worry, your block list it's not like flagging their accounts saying Arena, look at this account. This is just them, there's a report feature for that this. But yeah, I think this would be a nice way so you don't have to maybe constantly type in the sell thing. Eventually that'll dwindle things down. Because I do think some people did recommend that there is the search thing or the omitting type thing. But I do like this option just because if you set it up prior or as you're going, it slowly clears it out. But there are many options. Like chat says, you can go into the LFG options and kind of type in certain phrases that will filter that out.
What do you know? Half the community is lazy.
Yeah,
Duh.
people don't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I just don't care about the LFG tool. I
Right.
just like search for what I need, but
yeah, that's my
a
problem
cool-
too. I didn't know about it, but yeah, it's.
I do not like mobile gaming. It's too small. Can't see.
A bigger screen.
Oh, I have a big phone. Like
Apparently not big enough. Put it on a tablet.
That's a tablet.
It's still mobile. Mobile doesn't mean it has to be a cellular.
The only thing I would play on tablet would be like Hearthstone or whatever.
I play on it as
those
Stadia.
types of games.
Product placement. Come on, I can use money. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I saw it there. I couldn't resist. Or insert any other cloud gaming thing. Blah blah blah. Anyway,
That's a cool tip though. The minus sell thing or whatever.
yeah, I like I said, I saw people talking about that originally in the filters, like in the LFG filter. In the options, you could set filters, and so yeah, that's another. Like I said, I think like you're saying as well. I never wholly cared about the LFG tool as like only when I used it, but yeah, there's definitely the systems there in place that you can set things up early, or like this other person suggesting, you can block certain people so it doesn't show up that way. So there's multiple ways. Definitely, go exploring. But I don't know. Any other thoughts on the blocking of? Another interesting thing that popped up on Reddit. Someone was asking, is it worth making content for Guild Wars 2 on YouTube? As their post, they went on to say, as a longtime player outlined above, I'm thinking of creating content around the game on YouTube. Cool. However, I was wondering if the community still consumes such content as the game approaches the Cantha expansion. Probably due to that more so than ever, but let's continue. It seems that certain channels still pull in the views, but wondering if it's worth my time. Certain gaming communities just die off over time in terms of people searching for online content on Twitch and YouTube. So they go on to say, thoughts, are new channels based on GW2 or starting up? Does the community want or need new content, or has that time passed? Cheers.
People always look for guides or stuff like that. So yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Especially new player guides. Those are always popular. Guides surrounding episodes regarding where things are, things like that.
Or when in doubt, is this game still worth playing in 2020 or insert year?
I think the overall issue I see on my side of things, if I were new, well, and also just not being new and being just a content maker myself, yes, there's plenty of content that person can make, and more the merrier. That would be great, because that's one thing. Even every once in a while on Reddit, people will be like, "Hey, are there any new people doing content?" The thing is, everyone keeps falling back, and I'm not dogging on them because I like them too and all that stuff, but they always fall back to like Teapot, Wood and Potatoes, like, the main Aurora PG, but like it's certain groups that are the main, I would say, top of the pyramid that
and that's with
everyone,
anything. People are
yeah,
used to those personalities, so they're their
yeah. So it's like,
go-tos. Which, yeah,
sure, everyone encourages these people to do this, or they'll kind of complain or whine or ask like, where is this new content, people? Is anyone new? And why don't we see new content? I think that's the downside of our community compared to most community games, is that Guild Wars 2 seems to promote also just, and I get it because they promote their partners, but it other game companies, they kind of promote everyone, their partners and anyone else who's trying to make content for them, if that makes sense. So when your game company also is just promoting these main factor people, then you also have the community who's like, well, you guys are good, but this person's better. So then they get driven right back to the main top pyramid people, and then I feel like the people who try kind of winder off, because there's been a few people I started watching and like they just stopped trying because they weren't, I'm guessing, either getting views or maybe they just gave up because they weren't seeing, like, it wasn't growing for them in their opinion. And it wasn't that they were bad, they were doing pretty good. There were some that had good edits and stuff. They did like silly things, and even so I don't know. It's a big like, do it, because if that's something you really want to do, then for sure do it because it's going to show. Don't
yeah,
do it just because it's a click, it's a view, a number, any of that stuff. And if you do, don't go in the mindset of thinking like, how can I top myself over these people? Like, do it for you. Do it for you as a fan and what you like, and it'll definitely show through. But just realize that, promoting wise or showing off wise, it's going to be real hard unless you're already partnered with ArenaNet. And that's not to be mean. That's just the way this game company works so far, and it kind of sucks. And
and I would
it's
say
the one thing
some companies, like you said, I think
yeah,
maybe do show other people, but they also do stick to their, like, especially for
they
promotion
kind of stick to
purposes.
their little group, and that's the. It sucks because I really like the game, and I'm sure that they don't mean by it or anything. And maybe it's just their protocol. Maybe it's just for security's sake of like, at least they know what these partners make, and no controversial thing. Who knows? But it just overall sucks because it helps push that top
It
percent,
creates a
whatever,
gap, or
of people. Yeah.
but yeah, you don't have to go that route, I would say. I mean, for example, one of the ones that I've seen pop up and I've seen a lot of traction for, that I'm never heard that they're somehow a partner, especially because it's a group, is if you have a unique title coming to it, and this goes down to all the whole like YouTube, like how to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
play the game, the system on that is I know the one that caught my eye, and we've talked about them in the past, but I've seen them constantly put out more stuff, is what is it, a bard guild, or a music playing guild,
Yeah.
braids. It's like,
Teammate.
yeah, and it's like those things don't go to get, it's what kind of plays in your head, is so it catches people. And I've known, like I said, I not aware if they're, I mean, I'm not in the partner program, so I don't have like a list or something, but I'm pretty sure they're not either.
Right.
But
They might be, but
okay,
it
they might
might be
be,
like
I don't know.
a affiliate.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be affiliate. Plus, they've been doing it for so long that a lot of devs see them
Yeah.
playing in places. So I think they're just kind of like one of those community people that people like. Most people know who they are or have spotted them, and that's why. But overall,
Yeah,
I would
chat
say
saying
do
the
your
guild's
research too, like they said,
CMAJ.
with the whole
CMA.
YouTube algorithm, bleh, and maybe kind of research other. Don't copy other people, but like research other Guild Wars 2 people, not only the top people, but people who are in the middle, bottom. Just kind of see what's going on, see what their flow is, what are they tagging, how they're doing things, and same thing with just in general in gaming, like any game
Yeah, I was gonna
searches and
say
stuff
you
like
could
that.
use this stuff for not just Guild Wars 2. It's
Yeah, but I wish them luck because it would be nice to see some new people, and it would be nice to see some changes of things. And it doesn't matter what they cover. I'm down for anything, even if it's old content I've already seen. It's just nice to hear another fan talk about the game and not the same top percent. Does that make sense? Does that sound mean? I don't want to sound mean about it, but that's what I'm just
No, I
like
think,
a
like you're
new
saying, the
eye
biggest
view,
thing is,
basically.
do you have passion in the topic? I mean, I think that's one thing that sells. Granted, you gotta get people in the doorway, and like I said, one thing that could help with that is like Chad saying, the the one guild, you need that kind of catchy title. And like I said, you can probably look up information and videos on how to play the algorithm and how to entice people and stuff like that. Or you can just make videos for the heck of it and see where it goes. It depends on how invested you want to be in it. And like I said, that could be not just Guild Wars 2 YouTube content, that could be your YouTube content in general. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, regarding arena partners, I only new one I've seen is like maybe one in the last year. Honestly, they're not really great at promoting them, and the only
It's
time I
mostly
ever
artists that they promote on their Twitter, but
yeah,
in general, they're just not very good at promoting people, is what I'm saying. But most of the time when they do, it's only been partnered people.
and the only time I ever see other content creators is that like they're doing sponsored
Yeah, that too.
giveaways. So it's like that doesn't really make me wanna
And I
watch
feel like
it.
they could grow their Twitter alone if they actually start, getting other people. Like, because if you maybe followed a YouTuber who is maybe somewhat popular or something, and they tweet and then post, and it's just like it would help, kind of like when Shroud came over, and and a few others so far from the Twitch community, and came over and did this stuff
When did Shroud come over?
a while back when he was on Mixer.
Oh really?
Yeah. He actually came over for a little bit and then basically bounced off. It's the same time when Ninja was also looking for an MMO.
Oh, okay.
It was back then. Not what's his face.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But overall, I wish them luck. I think it's a good idea in my opinion.
yeah.
I don't want the thought of like, is it worth it? It's only if that's your mindset, then you gotta make sure to tell yourself, do I really like this content? Do I want to put this content out? Like, because if
Yeah.
not, if you're not feeling it, people are gonna see that you're not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you do want to make content, and if you can make it surrounding the new expansion, like prep work or whatever, I think that can help your channel get off the ground, if anything.
Mm.
But again, like it said, like just have the passion to do it. That's all.
So one day, like whoever is in control of the Twitter, or maybe telling Twitter how to do that, and like even if it's not Twitter, but the website too, just hopefully the company in the future does better at promoting other people than just artists and outside their because I'm telling you right now, a lot of these people could grow if Guild Wars 2 kind of gave an elbow nudge, like,
Mm-hmm.
here, look at this person or something. Instead, it's just like most of their Twitter is gym store stuff or art stuff, or once in a while, one of the big partners, or like you said, the promotion thing. So it's never like, check out this cool person. They made this quagging cake or whatever. Something with like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of, at least with
Yeah.
other gaming Twitters, it's like they kind of do a little bit of everything. And they'll do jokes, they'll do, cooking videos. I mean, so it's one thing. It's like, I don't know if it's whoever runs Twitter's choice. I don't know if it's like the owner. It's not all Guild Wars 2 I'm blaming or anything. It's just like whoever the rules are or whatever, they definitely should look into like
Well, and
promoting
like
or
I said,
advertising.
I think that can be seen in a lot of companies too, where they stick to their partner programs and stuff like that too. So
Yeah, but
Exactly, QED.
at the same time, it's like I understand, like the arena partner program has just been kind of messy over like the past couple of years, just because the issue with leaks.
yeah, I was gonna say it didn't help that
But
also the community burned that bridge a little bit too, or at least
I
charred
Well,
it.
and the thing is, partners that do still have connections are like I said, the top tier,
yeah,
because every time new content comes out, it's always been the few that I mentioned earlier, which that's kind of sucky, and it doesn't need, like, these people don't have to be partnered to be promoted. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so that's my issue I see is like they don't promote any, kind of like H said, most of the time it's artists or other things, but they don't promote anything outside of that. They don't promote just an average Joe who's a fan of their stuff. And it's like, look at me running Worldy World or something, and you just watch a video. It's like they're not promoting just even simple stuff like that. And it's not like it's a leak. They don't need to be paid for it. They're just showing like, hey, check me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There, I can understand it from a like also business perspective, just because most businesses these days like are going for more of a PG type of deal, because
That's what I'm
that
saying. Yeah, I feel like maybe it's safety route just to
yeah.
ensure.
Oh, that's interesting that they're going. If I mean, I know you're not saying that Arena is specifically, because I was like, that's an interesting topic. We've talked about death, and literally this Fractal was talking about depression and.
Well,
Yeah.
but like I don't think a 9-year-old will catch that meaning unless they're highly intelligent. But I think also just because like game companies in general are just going for that PG trend, especially like
Yeah.
that's why Fortnite's so marketable. That's why Fall Guys is so marketable, and Among Us and all that stuff. It's well, maybe not Among Us, but because like the way
Even
people
them, because I've
but,
seen their Twitter, they at least interact with their people still
yeah,
and joke around. They don't sit there and just be like, okay, and put a post and then leave. Like, yeah, Gilwars 2 likes a few posts here and there, but like at least they reply back. They don't have to reply back to the negative people or whatever, but they joke around. Like I've seen Fortnite actually post memes back to other people who post memes, or and yeah, it's still PG-ish or joke around, or it's the current whatever thing. So it's one of those things where it's like I don't know if this is just whoever runs the Twitter and that's what they're paid to do, set up to do, or rules and regulations, or like you said.
Yeah,
So
we don't know their limitations or between different companies and
overall,
policies, and yeah, I think
don't
that's what
doubt.
you were saying was like what chat was saying is it's a matter of what motivates you to do it, and that's one thing I was going to bring up was they were saying, is it worth your time? Well, you got to define what's worth it. Like, are you trying to be the next ninja? Like, then yeah, no, Guild Wars 2 is probably not the platform. Like, sorry,
Yeah,
I
I
love
was
Guild
gonna
Wars 2,
say
but I'm going to be
time phase,
realistic. But
it was at the beginning of the game. Good luck, but we're at like an age now that the game is like we don't know if it's going to end after the next expansion and go into Guild Wars 3. We don't know if if there's going to be more expansions or if it's just going to be right here. So you can make content, but I don't want to say like Deo. I don't plan to be the next ninja unless you're just that entertaining. Then sure,
yeah,
props to you if you end up being like that.
yeah, because I was
Then
gonna
I'll
say,
just slap myself in the face. I
I
can't question
think
anyone ever again.
if you could talk with I think it's Code Carnage, like he big Twitch streamer. I think he talked, like I remember him talking about, I think he started with Defiance, playing Defiance, which that was
wow.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I heard him say that, I was like, really? Like he was like, oh yeah, I had like basically family and friends like tune in just so I could get views and stuff like that, and people would trickle in, and clan or guild mates or clan mates, whatever it was called in there. But yeah, I was shocked with that too, that he said like one of his first games he was streaming was like basically his Defiance group of friends, and I was like, yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like your SOL with Guild Wars 2 or
that game still running? Like,
well, they did come out with their other version of it that was basically like give us more money again, and that's Defiance, not Guild Wars. They came out with what 2055 or whatever. But
wow.
like I was gonna say, which matter of worth, it's like I can safely say, talking Skritt, MAAD Realms were not in the partner program. I think Age is an affiliate, but it's you're not anymore. Okay.
I'm not affiliated anymore.
But yeah, it was it was never part like through this or anything like that. Yeah, we don't get shout outs or anything like that. Does it wane and stuff? Sure. I think we're all human. We would love to see tens of thousands of views. I mean, it's it's but honestly a lot Well, I also say a lot of times when I know, unfortunately, stoop kids never leaves a stoop. But when you guys go to conventions and like get to talk to like devs and stuff like that, like sometimes you've come back and said like, oh, so and so, like one of the devs might like watch the podcast or something, and that puts a smile on my face. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like, for me, I don't need them to, and this is just me, but need them to be like every week, hey, great show. Like I love the part where insert blah 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 happen, like to prove that they watched it. But no, it's cool that they're, for me, it's nice that like they're with their valuable time, with anybody's valuable time, everybody's sitting, watching this, that you're listening to us and stuff like that. So honestly, that's a thing of worth there.
Yeah. So I think just in the end, it's just, if you feel like it's worth the time, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I will suggest though that for any content creator in the gaming universe, like I would
drama,
say
all the drama. Oh no, okay, sorry.
No. I would say start off with a game, but honestly, I would say do not pin yourself to one game.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you, because that will hurt you in the long run.
Yep.
I've seen it happen a lot, and I've seen people who have transitioned to variety, and it's been working for them. So I would say have a main game, sure, but like I would also focus on other games you enjoy, or like be a type of gamer. So like Doc game is like an MMO.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have Lazy Peon, who's MMO.
Make sure if
yeah,
you have a social media like Twitter and all that stuff, that you, once you decide what you want to be in genre or whatever, that you keep that as your Twitter. Like, don't use your Twitter as a personal, unless like you don't care. But I would like, if you're gonna take this to a business level, then you definitely want to have that Twitter set for either promoting your stuff or contacting, leaving comments here or there of like, hi, I like you guys, I like the game, whatever, or cross promote, like working with other streamers, video people, whatever the heck it is. Just make sure you're wise, and don't use it as like a personal like spam people or any of that stuff. So, but I agree with age. Don't put yourself in the box, because that's one problem I'm having now is that, yes, I love Guild Wars 2 and I'm still going to do the Traveler stuff, but I also want to dabble into other games like Warframe
yeah,
and other things. And it's like, it
I
kind of
never
gets
heard
hard.
of the game. What's that like? It sounds interesting. Oh.
It's kind of hard to get out of that box when you just stick to one game, because then that's what either people only follow you for that, or they only expect you for that. And then like if you try to do anything else, it's kind of harder to get out. So
and it's such a weird, like, I understand people like, because it's the game that maybe they play or they like, or they like watching you play that one. But even the devs don't just solely play their game or whatever. They, but hold on one second. Feel free to talk other stuff, or anything around it.
No problem. So yeah, like Kit said, branding is important as well. So if you're gonna brand yourself, don't brand yourself to the game. It's like I've seen people who have there's a guy named Aaron who used to go by Guild Wars Monk, but he changed it to M Monk instead.
oh yes,
Stuff like that. So you other games is important perspective, but it's also I mean, like, if you really want to like focus on like Guild Wars 2, and like when like you're done with making the content, or the game doesn't satisfy you for making content, and you're just like done with YouTube, as like that's fine too, obviously. But if you want like your channel to like grow and stuff like that, then I feel like you have to diversify.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you do just pick one content, if you're wanting to play with the algorithm of views, that means you would have to be constantly pumping out that one content to keep up. And if you are more open, then you have the variety of choices to maybe one day, Monday will be Guild Wars 2 stuff, or maybe Wednesday will be highlights of me playing Fortnite, or just be mindful, because you can there's people that do burn out, and Age has a point. One of our friends, he got burnt out pretty quickly.
And I think the best example I can give is probably Ninja, just because he was known for playing Fortnite, even though he started off with
Yeah.
Halo, right? But and you see it with his views. If he plays something else, the views will be lower. But if he plays Fortnite, the views will be really high. And it's just because he's known for that game. But he still plays other games. He still has that variety, so he doesn't burn out. And I think that's important. But
And I mean, if you're
Mhm.
looking for just general tips on making content for that kind of stuff, I've always looked at different people on Twitter and YouTube. I know one that I've been following, Harris Heller, who he kind of gives different topics and advice and stuff like that and perspective. But there's also, I'm also intrigued by streaming technology. So, looking at a lot of those people, when the new graphics card with the sound, NVIDIA sound dampening thing, and also the topic of improving your camera, making it look better, making it look more different things and different ideas. And I think there's a lot of tools out there to even be maybe even spark your interest on okay, how can I play with it, manipulate it into what fits for me or something. So I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't even have to, you have the content there, but there's also what's surrounding the content, whether it's your voice, just your voice, or speaking over it, or maybe you're in the scene with it, or so. Yeah, I think there's still plenty of room to be different in the Guild Wars 2 space, or even in the YouTube space in general. So, because honestly, you always think that everything's been done until someone else comes out with something else, and it's holy crap, it's never been seen. It's how did they think of that? Sometimes it'll just strike you out of
If you
nowhere.
time it right, Jaggerus, when he literally said what the reason to play Guild Wars 2, he got pinged real hard with views and everything. So I mean, like they said, the right moment, the right title, you do your research on what to tag things, and if you're trying to go to grow and do business wise this way, sure, that's what you want to do is research. But if you're just doing it as a fan, then
Yeah,
just
exactly.
make it and have fun.
Yeah, and it just sounds like that's the biggest thing is how you say, is it worth my time? What is your worth? In the sense of, do you want it to be a YouTube or, celebrity type thing? Then yeah, you're going to want to go these routes that maybe we're talking. If you just want to make a good video and you don't have to worry about tags or something, just put it out there, and the internet's a big place. You can find your group. It's not, but yeah, so I think Kit said earlier, wish you luck. Hopefully, post something on the subreddit. Hopefully we'll get to talk about it. We with our next segment, we do always try to show off things that the community's doing, and we try to find anything that seems interesting. So it doesn't have to be from the biggest YouTubers, or it could just be something small, but it is tough, I know, breaking through that barrier of being seen by either a subreddit or the forums, YouTube itself with its search algorithms. So I don't know, any final thoughts on that?
I mean, if you do decide to get into the content creation sphere, good luck to you. And hopefully, I mean, if you ever see this, hopefully, maybe you'll check out our tips and make good content.
And if you become as big as Ninja, definitely remember us so we can live in your mansion. What? That's not what else you were gonna say? Oh.
I mean, I'm all up for living in a mansion.
I don't even know if he has a mansion. I think I just combined Ninja and Logan Paul, which I apologize, Ninja. Anyway, did you have any final thoughts, Kit?
No, that's it.
Okay. Last up we have Community Corner, and first up in it we have the DL Conquest Tournament Series. There has been a Reddit post, I believe it was today. Basically, the team that brought you the Masters of the Arena PvP tournament is proud to announce a new tournament series starting soon. Part of the Delusional Elitist organization, they will be holding a tri-monthly double-region conquest tournament. The goal of this tournament series is to keep the more competitive Guild Wars 2 conquest scene fresh and active in between large tournaments such as the Masters of the Arena, which is the title of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is Mighty Teapot is also spearheading this tournament series. First edition of the tournament is in 1 month. So Saturday, October 31st for EU and Sunday, November 1st for NA. They will be offering real money prizes to the first and second place winners of each of the tournaments, as well as gold prizing for the top eight per region. It is open to the public, but capped to 16 teams per region, so you better hurry. And if you want more information, their Discord, but we will link the Reddit post in case you want to participate. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube or even MAAD on Twitch, links will be in the description. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to see more, love for the PvP tournaments, even though it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, gets the people who are designated as the pro players for Guild Wars 2, they come out of the woodwork and just like have some fun with it. So, and we've seen some from the last tournament that I've seen. We've seen some new faces. Well, I've seen some new faces that have performed pretty well too. So
maybe they'll be able to take it all. Newer faces.
All the winnings.
What were we saying? Sorry.
I said take all the winnings.
Yeah. And if you really want a challenging mode, have me on your team and you can carry me because I'll be dead weight.
Just give me a percentage of the cut. You don't have to give me a lot if I'm going to be carried, but just give me a little bit.
But but yeah, no, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see it pan out, and I'm glad that there's something like that in between Teapot's other tournaments. So yeah, go ahead.
That takes a lot out of him, man.
Yeah, but he has a good community that's rallying behind him that help probably put in the stuff too, so
yeah,
it's definitely a community thing driven by him and his peeps for sure.
Yeah, it's very cool. Like Teapot puts a lot in his community with all the tournaments, just promoting things like World War PvP raids.
And he does get like a good video, like editing. He edits his videos and does little advertisements for him. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say Noxie that did his trailer for the last one was just really, which goes back to the community that supports it. Like it, yeah, definitely good job from basically everybody involved.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, just a lot of respect to Teapot because like he uses his platform to promote the game in ways that a lot of people can't. So good on him.
Yeah, that'll be happening pretty much in a month, so that'll be fun to see. Also, we've talked about them in the past, Pink Day in LA 2020, and also the Quag and Waddle from Gamers Giving Back. So the Quag and Waddle is actually happening probably as we speak, because the earlier one for EU, I believe, already happened September 26th. If you're watching this on YouTube, it happened on Saturday. But it started 4 p.m. CDT on NA, so that at this current time was almost 2 hours ago. It usually lasts for a good bit, so if you're watching this live, probably during once we do our little bit of after show and stuff, we'll probably definitely try to throw it over to a stream that's doing that, because if you're not aware, awesome cause. For the Quag and Waddle, they say, come and join us along with many others as we march through Tyria and spread the word about Pink Day and the fight against cancer. They'll be starting right of Sum, making their way through Metrica Province, and then through Caledon Forest. They'll then depart and make their way to Lion's Arch, and then through Timberline Falls, and eventually ending up at Fort Trinity. The event will be live streamed, but this is all, like I said, to raise awareness for Pink Day in LA, which happens on October 17th at 12 p.m. CDT for NA and EU. Do remember that's open invite for streamers to help with the event. That one solely takes place in Lion's Arch. They also have their Gwen radio and donation links on their website, just in case. I know we've done it previous, but I will throw the links to you guys in case. But yeah, it's basically for cancer research. And for them, they do say, just a reminder to everyone that they have their donation page, but there's a chance to even win real life prizes, in-game goodies. So fun time by all. It's that good cause. Pink Day in LA has been happening since Guild Wars 1, and it's such a great thing. So go check it out. And like I said, today, Saturday, is Quag and Waddle, which, if you ever wanted to, I know they had loads of tonics ready for people, so don't have one, don't feel like you have to rush to the trading post. They're willing and waiting to help you get your Quag and Waddle on, which when I saw the screenshot, it looked like a lot of them were pink. They're just, I don't know, I like the black one. I like because it's like a killer whale Quaggan. If I had to be a Quaggan, which I prefer not to be. For this, I would. A good cause. But, yeah. Other thoughts about it? Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely go check that out. But yeah, I think that is it for this week. So Age, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Age Night Road. I've just been playing a lot of Apex, to be honest. So, I'm getting better, I think. I hope. I played Overwatch yesterday, and my aim significantly improved. So I guess there's a
yeah, that's a positive.
Next week, I don't know what I'm doing. There's the only game that's going to be coming out is, I think, Watch Dogs Legion, and I'm probably going to get that when I get my graphics card. So I'm only going to get that when the graphics card is available, 3080. I'm trying to get. So yeah.
Look at that, sir.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be streaming the usual stuff, which is right now Apex, BDL, a bit of the Guild Wars 2. So I might hear some story next month. So never know.
And Kit, where can they find you?
Twitter, Twitch, Twitter, Twitch, website are all Kit the Traveler. Basically, right now I'm about 2-ish weeks, 3-ish weeks before I move. So right now I'm just kind of traveling about in the mysterious world. And then when I get back, I'll be streaming, hopefully back on Twitch, which that's where you can find me, which is Kit the Traveler. And then if not, my opinions on Twitter.
You could say that Kit is living up to her name.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can find me at simply_Dale on Twitch and Twitter. I tend to stream Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays tend to be Warframe specific. But I'm always open up to anything. But Thursdays, been kind of messing around with things. Got to play Orcs Must Die 3 with my buddy last Thursday. It was pretty fun. We unfortunately only went 2 levels because we were well into it, where now it's actually trying to challenge you. But boy, howdy, was it fun to try to figure that stuff out and yell at each other. But yeah, probably I do want to start getting back into ESO because I want to do the main story for the most recent expansion because their next story bit I think is coming in November-ish or something like that. So I kind of need to play catch up with that. Also, they have a community event going on. I want to get another house. But anyway, if you are just popping at the very end, do stick around. We do a bit of an after show. But if you just want to watch this in full, we highlight it on our Twitch, twitch.tv/MAADrealms. If you want to watch this live, if you are watching the VOD of this, go live on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. But also, if you want to watch this and Twitch isn't your preferred platform or choice, they did get rid of mid-roll ads for a while, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you still, maybe that put a bad taste in your mouth, you want to go to YouTube. Oh, okay. Good luck to you. But you can go to our YouTube. It goes up on Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Don't forget to advertise your guys' weekly thing too now, starting on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. We just started. If you've been watching us live on Twitch, on Tuesdays, we've been doing our like little fun, different, varying streams. Where we played things like Uno, Vermintide 2. I know
So
this
you did
past
Fractal.
week, this past week they went and did the Guild Wars 2 Fractal, so it's not going to be like we already do Guild Wars 2, so we're barring it from this. It's whatever people want to play. But we have loads of different games lined up. We have hopefully dogs not barking as much. But we have made it so it will go up on Thursdays, but it will be slightly time delayed, like it's a couple of weeks past. So if you want to watch those, they go up on Thursdays, depending on if there's any issues. But look for Tot, T-O-T, like tater tot. And I'm watching Age die a little inside as I said that. But if you want to catch them live, it will be Tuesdays, usually 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, but yeah, definitely check those out. Wednesdays usually Zero to Hero with Malthanis. And then, like I said, Tuesdays there. Then Saturdays back here. But yeah, I think that is it for this week, and we'll see everybody next time and in the game. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.